Hey, everybody, it's Brian Bassett from the Jets blog with a Week 13 invigorated Jets translations. First up, Rex Ryan talks about what it took to make the decision to move for Mark Sanchez. Watch this.
It's just something I sensed and I felt, and when you're around this game long enough, you get that feeling that I've seen enough, and it's time to make that change.
He's around this game long enough. This translation, this was long overdue. I am a long-suffering head coach, and I finally decided to make that switch. The fact that, though, he mentions that, he's been around this game long enough. Listen, I've been around this game half as long as he's been around this game, and I've known all season that Mark Sanchez has been terrible. So why does his, knowledge trump mine? It looked just as terrible to me as it did to him, I'm sure. Next up, let's take a look at Greg McElroy talking about taking on the reins of becoming the starting quarterback, what he felt in the energy of the stadium.
It's tough to kind of gauge the energy. Obviously, I didn't have like a decimal meter where I could tell like what the crowd noise was.
Translation, yes, I heard the roar. I mean, how could he not hear the roar? The fans were booing Mark Sanchez all throughout the game up until that point. It was the turning point in the game. The defense saw him taking reps on the sideline and was invigorated from that. So, yeah, absolutely. He had to have heard the crowd. Everyone heard the crowd. Mark Sanchez heard the crowd. And here's Mark Sanchez actually talking about going to Rex after getting the word from Tony Sparano that he'd be benched. Watch this.
Yeah, I just asked if Greg was going in, and he said yes.
Hadn't you already been told at that point?
Yeah, I just wanted to hear from the head coach, that's all.
Translation, I'm hurt and appalled, and I had to hear it from the coach's mouth myself. I get that Mark Sanchez feels entitled. He's been the starter for this team for a number of years. But, to basically have to hear it himself, to have to go to the head coach because he doesn't believe that he's actually benched, that to me tells me all I need to know about Mark Sanchez. Last, let's take a look at Brandon Moore talking about how the other offensive players responded to having a new quarterback come into the huddle.
Guys' antennas go up and understand you got to make more plays and help them out, and definitely provided a spark. We wouldn't have won that game if they hadn't played the way they did.
Translation, we actually played harder for our third-string quarterback than we did for our first-string quarterback. You hear him talk about antennas going up. That should really concern you because why are their antenna not up for Mark Sanchez? What is it about Mark Sanchez that they're not digging deeper for him and they're going to do it for their third-string quarterback? That to me tells me all I need to know about what's going on in this organization and where the future's headed. And then you hear him say, hey, listen, against a better team, essentially, we don't win this game. They beat it because they're playing the Arizona Cardinals. Well, guess what? They've got 4 more games against bad teams. So, realistically, Rex could make a call, and it doesn't have to be Mark Sanchez. All they need is someone who can manage the ball, let them run the ball with Bilal Powell and Sean Green. And, hey, anything can happen at the end of this season, but it all comes down to Rex. We'll see what decision he makes in the next couple days.